Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 2 to the video that I had posted earlier in the week. Part 1 was the best free agent signings from this offseason, and this video is going to be the worst signings from the 2022 free agency period thus far anyway, and there are quite a few of them. They are in no particular order, they are just the 5 worst contracts signed. Personally, to me, I didn't rank them, but I will be talking about all 5 of them. And yeah, so go check out part 1 to go see the best ones. It will be linked in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into the top 5 worst contracts signed this free agency period. So we're going to kick things off with the CHIAROT contract. He signed a 4-year deal with an AAV of $4.75 million. He's already 31 years old, but 6'3", 234 pounds, plays the left side on defense. And he's played 74 games last season, split between the Panthers and the Canadiens, 9 goals, 17 assists for 26 points. Now, CHIAROT is one of those guys that's probably better suited for your bottom pairing. He's a solid defenseman. He's not great, but he's not like totally terrible in my opinion. He does do some good things, but honestly, he's just really not that great. I mean, 4 years for $4.75 million every year. That's kind of rough for CHIAROT. He has played big minutes in the past, and he is that big body that a lot of teams do like, but he's just really not that good. He gets out of position a lot and just ends up running in circles in his own end defensively. This was just a weird one by Detroit. I get that you want to bring in maybe a veteran guy for Mort Seider and a couple of your younger defensemen, but I don't know if CHIAROT was, really the right fit there. I know you lost a lot of veteran leadership. You're doing a lot of turnover and bringing in a whole lot of new guys over there in Detroit, and I really like their offseason. However, this one was just a little weird to me, maybe a little bit of a weird contract. But, you know, Stevie Y, he's been known to know what he's doing with bringing guys in, so we'll trust him here, but I don't know about this one. This contract looks a little rough, and I think down the line, years 3 and 4 could look even worse as he gets older and starts to slow down even more. Next up, we're going to talk about Nick Deslauriers, who got paid for what he is in the NHL. This is a guy that you'd think would be making league minimum, and he's not really making that much per year at 4 years, $1.75 million, but the 4 years is the problem here. This is a guy that's 31 and just not that good. I mean, he's just one of those grindy fourth liner guys that I think is very findable. I don't think that you needed to pay the guy for 4 years, $1.75 million, and of course it's, oh, he's good in the room, oh, he's whatever else, but 81 games, 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points. He's okay defensively, but he doesn't bring a lot offensively. I know he has 8 goals, but I don't know. For a fourth liner, it's not terrible money, but I think this is a guy that's easily replaceable. And on top of all that, what makes it even worse is he has a modified no trade for the first 2 years. I believe it's a 10-team no trade clause, which I don't know. You shouldn't be handing those out for bottom sixers, in my opinion, especially fourth liners. Kind of a weird one. I know it probably has a lot to do with John Tortorella coming in to the fold. I'm sure this is a guy that he's been asking for sure. But nonetheless, Nick Deslauriers, you are a Flyer, and I don't know how long he's going to be a Flyer. Maybe he gets bought out in the future, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll pull it out. We'll have to see. But initial opinion, I think that's a pretty bad contract for a guy that's pretty disposable. Moving on, here we have LEDDY, who signed a 4x4 contract, so 4 years, getting $4 million every year, totals out to $16 million, and 31 years old, 6 foot, 205, left-handed shot, 75 games played last year with the Blues, 3 goals, 21 assists for 24 points, and on initial look, it doesn't look that bad. At face value, it doesn't look terrible. You know, 4 years for a guy that's been fairly consistent, it doesn't look terrible. He's 31, so yeah, you are paying him till 35, but it's not that bad, right? Well, where it gets bad is that he has a 3-year no trade clause, full no trade clause. So that is very scary. You're really banking on him not slowing down and being consistent for years to come here. And I get that the Blues are going in trying to win right now, and they need guys that are going to be steady on the back end. And I love Nick Leddy. I think he's really solid. But how good does this contract look 2-3 years into it? I don't know. The 4th year, his no trade clause is gone, so that is good. But the 3 years, if he does begin to struggle, it's going to be really tough on the Blues. And depending on what their trajectory is, I think he could be a buyout candidate in the future. But right now, Nick Leddy, really solid player. I think he's locked in for the next 2 years for sure to be solid. But I really do think he could regress really hard just because of the style of play that he plays. And I don't know. So we'll see how this plays out. But, you know, it's just one of those that you read into and you go, ooh, that could be a little rough if he starts to decline. So up next, we have ERIK GUDBRANSON, who signed the same deal as Nick Leddy, 4 years, $4 million every year. And wow, I can't believe that he signed this contract with Columbus. I can't believe that Columbus paid him this much. Congratulations to you, ERIK GUDBRANSON. He had a fantastic year with Calgary this past season after almost being out of the NHL. I believe he got traded at one point for a conditional 7th. And that was just a year or two ago. But he's a big guy, 6'5", 222 pounds, right-handed shot defenseman. He is 30. 4 years of ERIK GUDBRANSON. I don't know how comfortable Columbus fans feel about that, but 78 games played, 6 goals, 11 assists, 417 points. Played a lot of the year with Nikita Zadorov with the Calgary Flames. That's a big pairing. Zadorov is 6'7" or 6'8", and in the Daryl Sutter system, he thrived, and that's awesome. But how good is he going to do in Columbus? I don't really know. I mean, wow, $4 million for 4 years is rough. And on top of that, now they had to trade Oliver Bjorkstrand, who makes $5.8 million, for pretty much pennies on the dollar to Seattle. He got traded for a 3rd and a 4th round pick. And Bjorkstrand's a 50, 60, 70 point scorer. And that is rough for Columbus. Yes, they bring in Johnny Gaudreau. But Patrick Laine, they had to move Bjorkstrand out so that they could sign Laine. And that's just not great asset management, in my opinion. I think Columbus does have a lot of great players on the back end, and I think they could have looked for somebody else, maybe a little bit more impactful and maybe a little bit more safe than ERIK GUDBRANSON. But if they're looking at last season and they're banking on a return here, hey, ERIK GUDBRANSON might be your guy, but I just don't see it. $4 million is a little outrageous for him. But we'll see how it all plays out in the next couple years here. But definitely a bad one. Last up here, we've got Vincent Trocheck, who previously played for the Carolina Hurricanes, now signing with the New York Rangers. Signed a 7-year deal at $5.625. He's the 29-year-old center, 5'10", 183, played 81 games last year for Carolina, 21 goals, 30 assists, 451 points. Now, I'm a big Vincent Trocheck fan, and I think he's an awesome player. I'm a big fan of him, and being a Jets fan, I was really hoping in the past that the Jets would go and get him. But I knew he was going to get paid. I didn't think it would be for 7 seasons, though. But at 29, you're paying him till he's 36, almost 37. 5.625 AAV. I don't have a problem with the money. I think that's pretty fair. Maybe a tiny bit of an overpayment for him. But in an elevated role where he's playing with guys like maybe Kako takes that step this year, and whoever else, Philip Hedl, Alexis Lafreniere, whoever he's playing with is going to likely be better than who he played with in Carolina. So I do think that'll boost up his point total. But going down the line here, Trocheck, I don't know how long that he can really be a true second-line center for. He's already 29. I do believe he will start to regress in the next 2 to 3 years. How much? I don't know. Maybe he does stay consistent. I don't know. It just really depends who he's playing with in New York. If he's on the 3rd line behind Hedl, I think it might be more of a shutdown role for him. Obviously, he'll still bring in some offense because he's far too talented not to. but I don't really know about this one. I think it was a little over-aggressive and a little bit of a panic move from the Rangers, losing Ryan Strome. But we will have to see how Vincent Trocheck works out in New York. But I don't know. This deal and then the Barclay Goodrow deal with it, that's over $10 million in those two players. And I don't know how comfortable you can be as a Rangers fan knowing that you've got two decently sized contracts in your middle six that might kind of ruin your window or length of your playoff contender window. I think the Rangers are an awesome team right now, and I love their chances at going for another run in the playoffs next year. However, I don't know how much I love the longevity of their window right now, because in 2 years they might be forced to lose someone as a cash casualty because of the Vincent Trocheck deal and the Barclay Goodrow deal. They already had to pay to get rid of Patrick Nemeth, who they signed last season on an overpay, and I'm just worried that the Rangers are going to kind of pigeonhole themselves here, kind of buy their way into mediocrity a little bit too soon, and they might screw up their window here. I'm a little worried, but for the next 2 to 3 years, I think this is an okay deal. We'll see how the back half goes and how Trocheck's career progresses, but not the greatest move, in my opinion, for the Rangers to go out and get Trocheck. I think they could have looked at different options. So that has been my video on the top 5 worst free agency signings this offseason. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think was the worst signing this offseason from any team? Let me know. And with that said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't seen part 1, go check it out now. Link will be in the description. And until next time, guys, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.